Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update, episode 283, Monday the 26th. Neptune yesterday ingressed into Aries and is officially out of Pisces for our lifetime. Every single person listening to this, we will never again in our lifetime experience Neptune in Pisces. I always think that's really interesting with the outer planets. When it leaves, especially as we get older, I'm like, wow, we'll never experience this again, and the energy that brought. So bye-bye, Neptune, and I have a lot to talk about with this. Today, Tuesday the 27th at 6:01 p.m., Mars will conjunct Pluto and Aquarius. We're well into that energy today and yesterday. We are now one solid week into this Aquarius energy. Thursday the 29th, Mercury and Venus will be conjunct in Aquarius at 5:17 a.m. Then we have the full moon in Leo Sunday, February 1st, coming in at 5:09 p.m. When we look to Neptune, okay, let's jump right into Neptune. It's the ruler of imagination, intuition, subconscious, illusions, the dissolving of boundaries. Let's look over the last 15 years since Neptune first entered Pisces. One thing that really sticks out to me on a collective level is the major personal development people sought after through plant medicines, shamans, tarot readers, astrology, therapy through psychedelics, therapy through dance gatherings and movements. Raves have exploded, right? I mean, I wasn't, I like to say, quote unquote, underground raver. I'm sure the 90s, 90s plur friends would say that they were, but when I was young, I was a raver and it had not really blown up. I feel like 2011, when Neptune first entered Pisces, I saw things starting to get a little bit bigger. But in the city of Pittsburgh, where I grew up, we had to have these shows, these raves. There wasn't like big headliners coming in. We had them at the Irish Center in Pittsburgh. We had them at these like little community centers. We would have rogue ones under the bridges. And now I was thinking that it exploded over the last 15, 18 years since Neptune was in Pisces. Like the rave scene became mainstream, which that was kind of wild. Other worldly practices, like looking into the Akasha records, I have never done that before. I don't connect with Akasha records, nor have I had that, but that's just like an example I'm throwing this at. As this transit progressed, though, the development of social media also progressed at the same time. And these ideas, these things I just shared, became so popular through social media as well and just kind of blossomed. And they became so wild and so everywhere and so vast that every Tom, Dick, and Harry online was like, become a shaman in just 7 weeks with me. Even though I'm like a little white person from Baltimore, Maryland, like I can teach you all the ancient ancestor ways because I also took a 7-week course. I'm sorry, not to hate on that, but it's a little annoying. I'm not going to lie. I am ready for Neptune and Aries to sort of take away some of the fakeness that has progressed over time, right? With Neptune, there was this illusion. And I'm saying, just like the shaman thing, what I'm saying is that that's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of energy, a lot of conversations around how to understand or even control your subconscious through retreats. All of that took over with Pisces energy. I mean, for when it comes to ayahuasca, right? I know many, many people have been using this ancient medicine for, thousands and thousands of years. But during this time became that they developed that first, what was it called? It was down in Orlando, and there's one, I think, in Kentucky, like those little ayahuasca homes. I know the one in Orlando ended up having like a lot of, as the illusions revealed itself, it wasn't what it said it was. It wasn't really someone tuned into the ancestry, or they said they were, but they were really a hot mess. So those are some of the things that I think I talked about this on an episode in summer when Neptune first ingressed into Aries, that collectively, because we look to the collective with Neptune, we see how they wildly exploded. I mean, seriously, look back at all the things I just talked about since 2011, where we were then and where we were now in regards to everything I just talked about. And so we watched that collective really rise within that. I mean, marijuana, for Christ's sake, you're able to walk into a store and buy it. In 2011, that was my dream. You know what I mean? In certain states, you can get it dropped off to you. That was also my dream. So look at how Neptune and Pisces dissolved boundaries. Now, let's talk about social media for a little bit, and I have a few more things to say on Neptune and Aries, just like the general, and then we'll move on from there. But there will be, as we progress, now for the next 15 years, we'll be talking about Neptune and Aries. In social media, this is the illusion part of Neptune. In social media, there were a lot of people who were pretending to be really living what they were preaching. And they were saying like, hey, again, this is what I'm doing and let me teach it for you for a price. Let me join in and spend $7,000 and I'll teach you those ancient shamanic ways. I feel that when Neptune first entered Aries this past summer, there was some energy around people exposing the spiritual fraud. And I'm hearing more around maybe we've become also too wrapped up in uncovering our subconscious. And the whys and the therapies, that's another thing that exploded during this time, like I said, was therapy and uncovering the subconscious, which is very Neptune and Pisces, which Pisces rules over our subconscious. So I think there was something to that. That energy is freeing, right? Therapy is freeing, diving into your subconscious is freeing, but it is heavy. And sometimes we get lost in that constant processing that we also need to remember to break it up with fun and enjoyment. I don't think that spirituality or the development of the mind is going to go away for those of us who really live it, believe it, are it. But I do think that the fad of it is going to go away. You're going to see much less exposure of it and everyone wanting it and maybe even some pushback from it. So I'm really interested to see how that develops. Like I said, I think that now that Neptune is moving into Aries, everything that has just exploded, like I said, since 2011, I think a lot of it, you're going to see the spiritual frauds go away. You're going to see the strong desire of everyone feeling like they got to do something spiritual or hippie-like or whatever to fit in. You're going to see those people fade out. You're going to see, I think, more arguments towards it, more people saying it's not real. I think you're going to see much more pushback. But the important thing is the people who actually live this, who actually believe this, who it's actually in their bones and it's in what they want. It's not just something they're doing for the fad of it or to make money or whatever, that will stay. So that is one of the things I'm excited about, is the people who really live this, who really believe in this, to stay strong in it, but like all the rest to filter out. I'm not gonna lie, I am ready for all the rest to filter out. I was talking to someone on Saturday night and I didn't know this. I think I might have read it somewhere, but I believe she said it did pass. Again, before I wrote this out, I didn't do my own research, but I believe she said it passed. Here in Pennsylvania, they made it a law now to stop allowing people to accept money for things like astrology, tarot readings, psychic readings. This summer, when Neptune entered when Neptune entered Aries, there was a pushback, I know, to the Mary Jane, as well as using plant medicine for psychedelics, as approved for meds, all those things. So we will see, again, not only, people, coming to the illusion of it, but we're going to see a pushback of people like, actually, this isn't working. Actually, we're not doing this. Actually, this is all bullshit. We know it's not bullshit for those who believe it and live it, but you are going to see a little bit of a pushback. Our intuition, that's Neptune, but remember, Neptune sometimes also brings illusion, is going to get a little bit of a new flavor right now. Those Neptune perceptions, we're shifting based on Jupiter, with Neptune being in Jupiter's sign of Pisces. However, it is now going to be in Mars's sign of Aries. So that Neptunian energy, like I had talked about, is going to have an Aries flair. Neptune in Pisces was very lost, and it was okay with not being found or just being and not acting on any tuition, just sort of being lost and allowing things to flow. Now, with Neptune being in Aries, there is more action, and more action will be taken when it comes to Neptune. And, when it compared to Neptune and Pisces, there wasn't a lot of action, a lot of floating. Now there's a lot of action. So be prepared to be revealed. The illusions, what's kept you under, and that's going to be really, that's the collective. But my mutable placements, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, this has been affecting you guys in one way or another. So you should really, the summer you probably had some clarity, but you should be waking up this week with more clarity. It might even be something like, hey, I'm going to stop smoking pot today. Or, hey, I have this vision. Or, hey, I'm not lost in this fantasy world like I was anymore. I'm seeing the truth. So I'm liking that for my mutable energy. Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius today, Tuesday, January 27th. How's already January 27th? I feel like normally January goes extremely slow. Like, I remember there's always these memes of like, oh my gosh, it's January 30th, but it's a whole year or something like that. Or why is January a whole year? I don't know about you. Like I said in last week's episode, we have taken off on fire. It's crazy this month. This has definitely moved faster than any January I can remember. So, getting strong with that year. For this fire year, and for my fixed placements, this week is going to be really, really big. Y'all are going to have a strong dose of energy, like a compulsion going through you. Aquarius, y'all are going to be asserting your boundaries and feeling like you are having a surge of energy running through you. This is a time for you to stand your energy, and that is going to carry you through the week and the weekend when we have this full moon in Leo. However, my little Aquarius placement, he's got 4 Aquarius placements. He woke up not feeling so well. He will be better by this weekend, but I hate when that happens. Usually it's funny when there is a Mars conjunct Pluto, especially he's an Aquarius rising, Aquarius Mercury, Aquarius sun. He tends to get sick during that time. So any of my Aquarius Leo placements, I hope you guys don't get sick. But if you do, you should have the energy to fight through it. It won't be something that takes you out all week. Leo, this is going to be a time when you have to see something that isn't real. And that thing that isn't real is something that is in you. One last illusion you are moving past, and it is the illusion around your ego. It is the illusion of how you worry so much about how others perceive you. This weekend with the full moon in Leo, though, your truth will be revealed. And that truth may be, hey, this is really how someone sees me, and I don't give a fuck. I don't need to prove them. I don't need to get them to like me. Scorpio, this is your ruling planet with a conjunction to Pluto and it's squaring your Scorpio placements. This is going to be it'd be a time for you to think outside the box when it comes to unveiling secrets. Are you going to keep it hidden, detach from it? Are you going to voice them and let them go? Either way, you have to move on. The strong drive to move on will happen during the full moon. Taurus, you can't always get your way. Choose what is worth fighting for when it comes to getting your way and let the rest go. Does being stubborn and non-compromising bring you happiness? Let that resentment that you have let build up go during this weekend's full moon. So that's a little bit of a quick energy for my fixed placements, what you guys can be expecting this week and how that's going to transpire. For the rest of us, this week, people will be a little more charged up in the collective with Neptune and Aries this week, plus Mars conjunct Pluto. Things are going to get heated. You guys know I don't really watch the news. However, I have my own personal news story, which is my baby daddy who sends me, I let him, he's a Pisces and an Aquarius Mercury, and I let him tell me everything. He sees all sides, he sees all conspiracies, he sees all things. So I've gotten to be able to filter out all news sources, which is everywhere, and he's my main news source. And this week, I do believe things are going to get extra heated and just sort of kick off a little bit of the collective fighting year and people fighting back. This is a week where you may feel unjust in general, not just in the collective, like I said, but also in your own personal world. You may feel a strong urge to fight for cause or get easily angered with what you're seeing around you, especially with something that is unjust. Now, there is so much going on in the collective, but I don't mean just in the collective. It could be something in your small little world. It could be something in school or work, something that is just not fair, and you're feeling strong about pushing through that. Aquarius energy is very much, which I love, rooting for the underdog. They all believe in fairness. In some ways, I think more than Libras in a super way, because Aquarius will Libras believe in fairness, but they also don't want to argue the point or say something to someone about it. However, Aquariuses will be like, hey, I don't agree with you, and this isn't right, so let me make this right. This is a time where your imagination is coming up with a plan and will be fast and almost like you're reaching to the very depth of your soul to find why. Passion, drive, get that power you need to push through. The full moon in Leo this weekend is going to be the extra power surge, like I said, that you didn't know you needed. Thursday, we got Mercury and Venus are conjunct in Aquarius. So again, this is building up to the full moon in Aquarius energy. Two conjunctions this week in Aquarius, Pluto and Mars, Mercury and Venus, Aquarius again. Y'all are having a big fucking week, okay? This feels like a rebirth within your power, your self-love, your confidence, your belief. You are finally feeling like you are mastering something, accomplishing something because of your hard work, standing your ground in what you believe in, leaving any self-doubts at the door. With that being said, they fight for the unjust, but I feel like Aquarius fights for the unjust because oftentimes they can't assert themselves correctly. They can sometimes be shy or not really want to say how they're feeling or push back or sometimes put other people's first. But you are literally going to be standing out in the crowd. This is your time to shine. Again, you have worked hard. You've cared about a lot of people. It is your turn to put that energy towards you. Mercury and Venus, Pluto and Mars conjunct, really being able to express your desires and what you want with love and self-confidence. That's going to be the strongest for the fixed places, but especially my Leos and Aquariuses right now, because this is happening in the opposition between you two. You're breaking through love droughts. Now, this is going to be all four, Taurus, Scorpio as well. You're breaking through love droughts, boundaries, power dynamics, thinking and communicating outside the box to achieve those things, trying a different approach to get through to someone, and you will get through to them. But you just have to think outside the box. How can I communicate this? How can I share this with this person that won't trigger something that I don't like a bad feeling? How can I really break through? But you have to think outside the box. That's one of the amazing things about Aquarius is they know how to think outside the box. Not only do they have that fairness part, they know how to think outside the box, and they can communicate thoroughly. The new way of communicating, this new way that you're creating, will definitely bring a breakthrough that you're looking for. Again, this is going to be a year of power, especially for Aquarius and Leos. I'm excited for this fire. You guys are just getting started. And now that we have Pluto and Aquarius for 22 years, this is going to be a long time of you guys coming to power, Aquariuses. You are just beginning. This full moon in Leo coming in Sunday evening will be happening exactly at 5:09 p.m. and leading up to the exact full moon. We're still in that full moon energy as soon as the moon enters Leo, but leading up to that exactness where they're in the total opposition, the moon will be opposite Pluto and then Mars. Then after the exact full moon, but still in that full moon energy, the moon will go opposite Mercury and Venus before leaving Aquarius and then going into Pisces. So again, there's a lot here with these double conjunctions and then the full moon in Leo. So my Aquariuses, this is going to be a very, very big week. So, like I said, with the topics above, this full moon weekend, you will be living in your power, believing your power, setting the tone for how others should treat you by treating yourself that way first. So let's look at the full moon in Leo like a mirror. If you want to be treated a certain way, are you treating yourself that way first? Okay, with the mirror, we are looking back and reflecting back. If you want what someone else has, because sometimes with Leos, there can be a little bit of that envy. First, ask yourself, do I believe I can achieve it? Do I see in myself what I see in them? I'm a firm believer, and only because of my own experience, that you can't love someone fully until you love yourself first. I used to hate that shit when someone would tell me that when I was young, but it is true in my experience. We could say that the polarity between Aquarius and Leo is that Aquarius could learn to love themselves and believe in themselves a little bit more like a Leo can, and Leos could learn to humble themselves and see the beauty in keeping things simple the way that Aquarius can. So there is the switch off that both Aquarius and Leos need, because that's why there's an opposition. Every astrology sign has an opposition, and the opposition has what you need, but you can't naturally achieve it. Here's another one for you, and this one used to really get me going, especially when people would tell me this. when I was in a 12-step fellowship, they would say this all the time. You can't see in others what you don't already see in yourself. That would be like my sponsor. I'd call her up or a friend, and I would be complaining about someone and something that they would do. And that was often the response, especially for someone who has years of awareness under their belt. They would say, you can't see in others what you don't already see in yourself. And of course, that would piss me off because I'm complaining about this person that I didn't like, or I don't like their behaviors, or I don't like what they did. But the truth is, you really cannot be bothered by someone else what you aren't already bothered in yourself. And those closest to me, sometimes I will say to them, if I'm comfortable enough and I know that they won't hate me, I'd be like, okay, well, that's annoying you about that person. Well, guess what? You actually also do that, which is why it's annoying you about that person. And that is the truth. And if you don't believe me, sit with it. Sit with it. Take in that you can't see in others what you don't already see yourself, and reflect on that and hold it for the next month. And I tell you, you'll be like, what? It took me like 2 to 3 years to really grasp this concept, to be honest with you. You can't see in others what you don't already see in yourself first. And that comes with love, hate, annoyance, sadness, happiness, all of that. And once I got the concept, it really changes things. So with this full moon, allow this full moon to be a mirror, a reflection. See the truth that you no longer wanted to see. Or the truth that you didn't want to see, but now you're allowing yourself to see. So it is a mirror. It is a mirror to you. This is going to be a full moon that may trigger the ego, but the ego is important to be triggered. Ego is important. We have to have ego. That's how we have confidence. That's how we get things done. That's how we have belief. But there has to be this other side to the ego, and that has to be humbleness. That has to be understanding. That has to be not taking things so serious, not being hurt so much. That's the thing with Leos. Again, like I said, Aquariuses have trouble, asserting themselves in a way. But Leos have no problem with it, but they need to get better at letting shit go and humbling yourself, okay? Both of it is the dichotomy. Now, that being said, I love my Leos. I love my Aquariuses. But this is a mirror to what you want. If you want to be something, if you see something in others, you have to believe in it first. And I'll end and share this because some of the things that might come up, like I said, is envy and things around envy. And if you see what someone else has, whether it's beauty, whether it's fitness, whether it's peace of mind, whether it's confidence, it's whether them being able to be themselves, whether it's peace, whether it's love, all of those things. When you got to get your jealousy in check, because I promise you, I've worked a long way. I literally do not get jealous. Sometimes in a relationship, but literally like, oh, you're flirting with my person. But literally, I am so happy when everybody has something that I don't have, because I trained my brain to get that, because that is how you achieve it. If you, right, like I said on other episodes, the universe, the manifestations respond to how you feel. So if you are constantly feeling envy, like, ugh, why does she look so good? Or, ugh, why is things always come easy to her? Ugh, why is it this? You are literally telling the universe you don't deserve it and you can't achieve it yourself. So remember that. Every negative thought you put towards someone else because they have something that you do not have, you are not any closer to achieving it. You are further away from achieving it, and that is going to push you back. So you have to fake it till you make it. Change your thought process. You're scrolling, you see a picture, and you might be like, ugh, I don't look as pretty as her. Don't say that. Say, wow, she's really beautiful. She's really beautiful. Or, ugh, look at their love story. I don't have that. Don't say that. Say, wow, I'm really happy for their love story. That's a great love story. That is how you are going to achieve what you don't have yet and others have. I promise you that. And remember, with this full moon, you can't see in others what you don't already see in yourself. Whew. That was a good episode. Happy full moon. It is fucking freezing here. We've had a cold, snowy, dark winter. Probably one of the worst winters we had since I was pregnant with my son, who just turned 12 last week. Abram is 12 now. So definitely stay warm. And also, The Bounce Back Stronger podcast, I have been on that, and my dear friend Donna Ferris, she puts on, it's a great podcast, and you can find it. If you need the link, ask me. I know I posted the link. She has it, but if you look back, we did every year she has me on her podcast to talk about the astrology of the year, and we did an episode for her. So shout out to Donna Ferris. Definitely check out the Bounce Back Stronger. And not just me, she has really, really incredible interviews on there with a lot of interesting people, local people, people far away, but like across the board, all different kinds of spectrums of people, not just the metaphysics, but everything, even physics. Thank you guys. The best way to support this podcast is to rate, review, share. You guys keep doing that. Stay warm, have a happy full moon, and allow yourselves to be free through the image of illusion. I love you all, and goodbye.